as Paul said, my name is Laurel. I've been with the fund for many years, probably talked to a lot of you on the phone in the past. And we always talk about retirement benefits. When you're young, we're usually talking about the SMA. And so that's the fund I'm going to be going over. Now, I'm going to be going over the retirement aspect of the SMA. And then there's another part of it that Jenny will be picking up on after I conclude. Now, just like pension, every time your contract comes up, you're deciding if you're going to put additional money into your SMA. You currently are putting in $6.39 per hour into that account. So as you can imagine, it grows pretty quickly. That's for every hour you work. It goes right to John Hancock, right into your account. So, and you have 2 annuities. So you really are accumulating quite a balance by the time you retire. With the SMA, as soon as you work 1 hour, you are vested. Every dime that's in your SMA account is yours. You don't have to worry about losing it because you weren't here for 5 years working. That money is going to be paid out to either you, or if something were to happen to you, it will go to your beneficiary, but it will never be lost. So it's real important that you keep an eye on this account, understand how it works, and think before you withdraw, because it was originally designed to supplement your pension. And so you want to really protect it, and I'll show you the benefit of waiting in just a few moments. Okay, so the advantages of your SMA. Like I said, it is designed to supplement your pension. The pension is the heart of your retirement income. But the SMA, it works a little different. This gives you freedom to set up your retirement income in a unique way that works just for you. Everyone's going to have a different circumstance. For some, that monthly pension might be all you need, but between that and saved money you have and your spouse's retirement, you might be perfectly fine. But for others, it might be difficult living on that, and so you're going to discover that you can use the SMA to help you out. Like I said, the balance is always 100% yours. The other cool thing about it is you control how it's invested. You have no control over anything like that with your pension. You work, that's your control. And as you work, more money goes into the plan and your dollar amount goes up. But with the SMA, you actually control what it's invested in. You can change it at any time and check that balance at any time. So you're actively involved in the accumulation of that benefit. It offers you flexibility, as I discussed, and that comes in the forms of withdrawal. Pension is a monthly benefit. You have no choice in how you're going to receive it. The SMA, endless choices. I'm going to try to keep this short because we could be here for a day if I went over each choice in detail. So the eligibility rules. It's a retirement plan. So when you're retiring, it's basically based on your age at the time you decide to do that as to what makes you eligible to do it. If you are under the age of 52, you have to go 24 consecutive months without working in disqualifying employment and receive your payment before you return back to work. If you are between the ages of 52 and 59 and a half, you have to go for 3 months without working in disqualifying employment, receive your payment, and then you'd be free to go back to work. Now, if you're 59 and a half or older, you simply go from your effective date of that application, which is the first of the month after you apply, and you go from that date until you receive payment. And then you're free to go back to work. The only exception to the age rules are if you're applying for a disability. If you are found totally and completely disabled from any gainful employment, and then you're receiving Social Security disability, or can go in for an independent medical evaluation, and you're deemed disabled, then you would be eligible to withdraw your SMA at any age. You can be 32 years old, and you can receive it. There's no wait. So keep that in mind, just in case something were to happen. You do have this source of income to help you out. Okay, so disqualifying employment, Paul spoke about this in his part of the presentation. It's ironworking in the states of Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Wisconsin, or any standard metropolitan area that borders any of these 4 states, which basically means if you're gonna go to St. Louis, it's disqualifying. The best thing I can say is if you are planning on withdrawing your SMA, or trying to, and you're young, you know, you're under the age of 52, so you know you gotta go 24 months without working, definitely call us and make sure that this work you're planning on doing is not disqualifying, so you don't waste 2 years of your life for something that's not gonna happen. Make sure it's disqualifying. If you are moving out of the area and going to Texas, as Paul said, you know that it's not disqualifying. You're good to go. You iron work in Texas, once you hit the 2-year mark of being there, you call us and you can withdraw your SMA. And so, in many circumstances, it's very convenient, especially if you're a member that moves around the country a lot do. So keep this in mind with the SMA. Optional forms of payment. So this is where we're going to get stuck for a moment. I'm going to try to provide you with examples to break this down a bit. Of course, the first option is the most obvious, the lump sum withdrawal. You can take the entire balance out at one time. Anything you receive as cash, John Hancock is going to be withholding 20% federal tax. And keep in mind that depending on your age, there might also be an additional 10% penalty when you file your taxes. So talk to a tax preparer before you do this so you don't get hit too hard on taxes. But when you take a lump sum, you also have the opportunity to roll it over to another qualified plan. So if you've got a retirement plan already set up, you might be able to roll this over directly into it, and then there's no tax due. It's just a transfer of funds from one account to another. You could also do a combination of both. So you could take like $50,000 because you're working on your home, and then roll over the remainder of your SMA so you don't get taxed on it. This used to be the only option you had, really. When you applied, one way or the other, you were withdrawing that entire account balance. Things have changed. This is where it's gotten pretty cool. Now there's a partial lump sum withdrawal. So here, you don't have to take the entire account to get that $50,000 you need. So let's say we have iron worker Joe. He is retired. He's 58 years old. He has a huge SMA account. He's got $500,000 in there. He needs $20,000. So he submits an application, and instead of requesting the entire balance, he's requesting what he needs. Plus, you have to keep in mind, if he wants 20, there's going to be 20% tax on that. So John Hancock will actually take $25,000 out of his account. That 5 is covering his tax. Okay? But this is a great way of getting a small amount of that huge account without liquidating the whole thing or having to make a decision as to where you want to roll it over. It can stay right where it is. You're still controlling how it's invested. All the things you're normally you're accustomed to doing, nothing will change. So this is a wonderful option that never was available before. You can also go with monthly payments over your lifetime. Now, what this means is we're annuitizing your SMA. We'll take that SMA account balance, and then what we're going to do, we're going to take your age and your spouse's age and our genius actuaries do the math and figure out what you would be entitled to per month for the rest of your life, and it will work just like your pension. So it'll have the 50% husband and wife, 75, 100% husband and wife option. It will last your lifetime. So even if you outlive that balance that was originally figured from, it doesn't matter. It's going to continue to be paid. On the flip side, if both of you have passed away and there's still a balance, that balance is going to go to your designated beneficiary. It is not going to be absorbed by the plan. All that SMA money is yours. Just as I said in the beginning, you'll never lose it. So it is a nice thing if you are very uncomfortable with your pension amount and just feel that you're not going to make it with that, you need to bump it up and you need it guaranteed that it's going to last your lifetime. There's also annual installments. They've been around forever. You could take a 5, 10, 15, or 20-year annual installment payment. What that means is every January 1st, you're going to get a lump sum distribution. 20% federal tax will be taken from it, but you're going to take it in increments. And the advantage of doing that is that you're not getting taxed on the whole thing at one time. So when you go with the 10-year, you get 1/10 of your balance. The remainder is still at John Hancock making interest for another year. So you're kind of dragging it out slowly. If you take it all out in 1 year, your tax rate is going to be insanely high. You want to avoid that at all costs if you can. So this is a way of slowing down the withdrawal process. Now, this is what is really adding flexibility to your SMA. You can take monthly installment payments. What that means is you're going to tell us how much you want to receive per month. So anyway, with the installment payments, you're going to tell us what you want per month. So let's go back to Joe. He's retired, he's married. He still has $475,000 in his account. He is retired for a few months, and him and his spouse decide, we're young. There's so many things we want to do. It's really tight right now living this way. But what he can do is call our office and say, I would like to receive an additional $2,000 per month. It is no problem. John Hancock can set that up to be direct deposited into your bank account, just like your pension. You can take off to Hawaii. No worries, the money will be there for both pension and SMA, and you will be living a little bit more comfortably. With this option, you can also change it. So after a year of Joe and his spouse getting this $2,000, they realized maybe we could increase it to $3,000. It's no problem, they just let us know, and we'll send them a form and they sign off telling us what amount they want to increase or decrease it to. Finally, you can cancel it. So Joe reaches age 62 and he has just applied for Social Security, and at that point he realizes we really don't need this monthly anymore. Just let us know, we cancel it, and your remaining balance is still at John Hancock, growing. Just keep in mind that once you do that, you're going to have to contact our office again whenever you want to make a withdrawal. One other cool thing about the monthlies. This does not stop you from taking a partial withdrawal. So you're receiving your monthly, and something comes up. You need $20,000 again. No big deal. Call us, apply for a partial. You can get that money while you're still receiving your monthly distribution. It will not impact that. The only thing you have to keep in mind with the monthly is that it is like your pension. If you work over 40, you're not entitled to it for that month. Okay, so we'll suspend it for that 1 month or however long you go back to work. Just let us know. And once you're done, it will resume. But really, that is about the basics. Oh, you do have to be 55 to qualify for the monthly. That way, we don't have to keep checking your eligibility. 55, you've gone to 3 months, you've met it, and we're going to keep track of it. But it's a lot easier than if you were, under retirement age. So just make sure that you don't try to apply for this until you're 55. Yeah.
When we call Mid-America, if I were to call Mid-America and say, hey, I'm going back to work,
yeah,
put my pension on hold, is that one phone call for the pension and the SMA? Do I have to call 2 different people?
Nope, it would be one phone call, but you might want to mention that you have an SMA monthly because the person you're talking to might not be thinking about that. So, yeah, just mention it. What we really like is for you to send us something with your signature. Especially if it's going to be for an extended time period, you got this job, you're going to be off of work for 6 months, just send us something saying, please suspend my pension and SMA for 6 months. Okay? Yes?
So I have a question using your example. So I am Joe.
Yeah.
His $400,000 is SMA, and he's retired with his wife, and he needs a monthly, so he calls me, send me $2,000 a month. That comes out of his $400,000 pot. Does that pot
Correct.
consequently shrink?
Correct.
For every $2,000 that's taken out?
Correct, and that is the difference between the monthly installment and the other monthly I was talking about.
I guess that's where I'm confused.
Okay, so
how can the payment keep coming if Iron for Joe outlives his?
that's for the annuitized, because in that scenario, we've got a bunch of smart people like Paul that they figure out how long this money should last, and they're going to give you a dollar figure. They're determining.
Okay, so I understand. So,
Okay.
So in that case, you people will tell me this is what you're getting.
Exactly.
And you will get that for the duration of your life.
Right.
Whether you outlive your lump sum or not. Okay.
Right.
In the other example,
You're controlling it.
I understand.
Yes. And so, you could technically drain your entire SMA account balance when you're determining.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
I understand now.
Well, I'm glad. Sometimes it's hard to make the differentiation.
No, it's crystal clear now. Yes, ma'am.
That is great. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay. So, we are moving on to Jenny. She's going to go over the hardship. So this is not the retirement aspect of the SMA. This is something new, and no matter what your age is in this room, you could benefit from this. Okay? Thank you.
Hello again. Okay, so the hardship provision. The hardship provision is a little bit different than your standard SMA eligibility rules. For the hardship, it's not based on age. The hardship benefit is based off of the Safe Harbor Act through the federal government. It allows for you to withdraw for these 6 basic reasons. So we'll go through them really quick. So the first reason you can withdraw is for unpaid medical expenses for you, a spouse, child, or dependent. Okay? The next reason is going to be purchase of a primary residence. So you don't have to be a first-time home buyer. It's just if you're going to buy a new home to move into, you can utilize part of your SMA for that. Next is going to be the tuition and related educational expenses for post-secondary education for you as spouse, child, or dependent. Then it's going to be imminent mortgage foreclosure, tax foreclosure, or rental eviction. You can also utilize it for funeral expenses for your spouse, your child dependent, or your parent. And then repairing damage to your principal residence as a result of a governmentally declared disaster. And what you'll have access to we call the profit share portion of your SMA balance. So the profit share portion is everything that you've earned from June of 2020 onward. And that's what you'll have access to pull out for those specific reasons. Does anyone have any questions on that? Okay. All right. So I talked about this a little bit earlier. In your packet, you have that rollover form. And these are a little bit more in-depth rules about that. So if you're going to roll over into the SMA, it has to be for a qualified plan, like your defined contribution plan. Once the money rolls over into the SMA, it's then subject to our rules for our plan. So whatever plan you're in, those are the rules you're going to follow. The best part about this is that our fees are really competitive. So we're not taking out commissions and everything else. It's an annual fee. Right now, I believe it's even under $100 a year is all that's charged to stay inside the SMA plan. So it really can benefit you. And it also can benefit you because you could roll over, by rolling everything into one account, you're not paying multiple different fees at different places to different entities. So it's something to consider. And then, like I said, it's that orange stapled packet in your folder. If you wanted to talk about that further, come find us. We're happy to discuss your situation with you. All right, we're back to the Qualified Domestic Relations Order. So in order for you to withdraw from your SMA or your pension, we have to have any court-ordered documents, and that's if you've been divorced. So if your former spouse is owed something, you are not going to be able to withdraw from your SMA or your pension until that piece has been completely separated out. So it's really important, if you're going through that, please get us a copy of the divorce decree, the marital settlement agreement, and any of those quadros that have been ordered by the court. Because without that court order, we can't separate out your funds. Even if we have the divorce decree and the marital settlement agreement, that quadro is the actual court order that allows us to legally separate the money. Okay. So SMA balance and investment changes. If you want to check your balance, if you want to make any changes to your investments, you can call John Hancock directly at the 833-388-6466 number, and they can help you with those pieces. If you want to update your address, if you want to, even on John Hancock's website, if you want to do any of the more administrative pieces, you're going to call us. If you want to withdraw from your SMA, you're going to call us to get that application so we can get that started enrolling for you.